What's up, y'all? It's Marcus. Today we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna go to the arcade. We're gonna play some video games and just have some fun with my friend K Rose and my buddy Kai. So,
like we always do about this time.
what's up, y'all? It's Marcus Rose. So today I'm gonna walk you through the arcade shoot I did with me and K Rose and my buddy Kai. I'm gonna give you some behind the scene footage and show you why I framed shots the way I did, what gear I used, and then we're gonna go outside at Blue Hour and get some shots on the street. No, like on the street.
Cars coming.
After that, we're gonna hop in the Lightroom and I'll show you which presets I use to edit these files, and another cool technique you can use to center files in Photoshop if you don't get them right in camera. So stick around. So I'll let you guys watch some juggling action while we wait. But a lot of times when I get to a place, I like to go through 3 or 4 different lenses, let people relax and get in the mood, and it'll make the photos a little bit better and more candid. We were just juggling some balls here, and I was trying the 24 first, and I said I don't want to use the 24, it's too wide. I tried the 50 and I tried the 35, and I really liked the 35 for the inside shot, so I just continued to roll with that for most of the day. So on this particular shot, we wanted to shoot directly towards the pinball machines with them to the back of her, and we had a nice little breeze going because the light was coming from behind us, and we had a little LED that you can see Kai holding up there, lighting her from the top. And I'm using the 50mm 1.4 Zeiss ZA on the A7RIII. I'll put some raw files in the description for you guys, and please go to ProPhotoEdits.com where you can download my Lightroom presets and Photoshop actions, everything I use to edit my photos. So I had the idea just to lay her down on the pinball machine and do something that was kind of sexy. And only problem with this is the pinball machines throw a lot of colors. As you can see, it started blink, and then you get 25 different color casts. And I wasn't really opposed to that. It's an arcade. It's supposed to look kind of cool. So I had to take a lot of photos until I got the right expression and the right lighting with the LED, and also with the pinball machine kind of not going crazy. And I'm shooting with the 35 Sigma art on my favorite Nikon Z7. So I kind of worked my way into my favorite shot of the day, and I'll air it here in a second. But first of all, we started getting her reflection off this other game in the front here with the 50 shooting wide, and I wasn't really over the moon about just the way I wasn't capturing the whole entire background, even though it's cool with her reflection on there, and that's on the A7RIII with the 50 1.4. So I wanted to switch to the 35 and shoot in portrait and get a little bit more of her hunched over. So one of the things you'll see me do a lot is if I'm using a prop like a game machine or whatever it is, I have the person get close to it. Like I'm gonna ask her to kneel down right now and get as close to it as she can. You know, it's kind of more intimate, especially when I'm shooting portrait and orientation with a 35. I wanna get a shot where I'm kind of shooting down at the person. So I started shooting wider in landscape orientation. I wasn't really feeling that look as much, so I wanted to shoot down to her a little bit and have her look out the window where the light source was and switch over to portrait, and I think I nailed the shot right here. This stuff is bullshit. This stuff does not work. So what do you call somebody who has like 2 $5,000 setups hanging off a $6 Amazon strap? An idiot. I need to find a better way to carry these cameras. It's so heavy because I have all these recorders on both these cameras recording through the lens footage, and then GoPros attached to everything, and it's just a nightmare.
Room for one more.
So I wanted to test out how the 85 L2 would work with the MC-11 on the A7RIII, and it worked out rather well. I mean, it's not super snappy, but that lens isn't snappy. But it has a really retro look, and I put a couple retro presets of mine on it to make it look even more. So I want to show you how to use some of these presets real quick in Lightroom, and I have them set up in a certain way to help you out even more. So I shoot this a little bit underexposed like I always do, and go over here to your teal and orange set and the blue hour right here, and you see once you click it and let off, it'll go ahead and put the gradients where they're supposed to be. You see if I mouse over it, it'll go back to where it was, and then come over here and it'll put the gradients, have them set up in a way to kind of illuminate the subject, and that gives it a nice retro vibe there. So before we hop in the Lightroom and compare files, I just want to show you this last shot, and it's nothing crazy. Just had to lay down the lane lines on the street in A7R3, and this is adapted 85 1.2 L2, and then this is how it turned out. So we were just goofing around waiting for the sun to get low, not leaving the arcade yet. Had some drinks, and I just took a couple of shots of her sitting at the table here with the 1.4 35 on the Z7. Put the preset on there. You can see how warm the colors are there. Nice fall off. That's one of my favorite lenses. And then I pulled out the 85 1.2 and put it on the A7R3, and shot this at 1.4 with the preset, and she's just sitting here letting the window light come over here and light her face, and a couple bokeh balls here in the back, and getting a nice little reflection here on the table, just a drink table inside. Outside on the street, just waiting for the light to get right, testing out some ideas. She's just laying on the street right now before she went completely down onto the street. And the 85 at 1.4, that's probably my favorite 85. It's just so organic. It has such a nice fall off, painterly looking, everything. Great lens. And you can just see how organic that lens is. It's not very sharp. It's not the sharpest 85 ever, but it has just a really nice dreamy look to it. And you can kind of see her face, kind of almost feels like it's 3D coming out of the frame right there. Looks like a retro shot. Really cool. So right before we packed the cars up, it was getting really dark, and I just took a picture of her up against the wall with the Z7 105 1.4 and show you with the preset. Super, you can bring back all those details, man, and it doesn't really lose anything. That's why the Z7 sensor to me is the favorite sensor I've ever shot on. I might try to buy that adapter to put the EF glass, now that I know they have that for the Z7, and see how that works out. So real quick, let me show you how I centered these shots. Now this was my favorite shot of the day. This is 35 Art with the preset on there on the Z7. Nice highlight, roll off everything. And I brought all the shadows back, and the colors are just kind of perfect. The only thing that's wrong with this photo is it's not centered. You see that she's not in the center of the composition here. So what I'll do to get it from there to here in Photoshop, I'll show you how to do this real quick. So open your image in Photoshop. Click on your background layer, Apple J, or Command J on the PC, I think, and then you have a duplicate of the background layer. And the goal here is to make this image wider so she can be centered. And every image is different. If you're out in a place where it's like the forest or something like that, you can just flip this side of the image and mask it in over here. And I'll show you that on a different image. But for right now, all you need to do is this: just go up to Image, go up to Canvas Size, and just make it, just choose like 6 for the width, leave the height the same. Okay, so on this layer right here, you'll grab your rectangular marquee tool and just select this whole side of the image. Make sure there's none of her arm or anything in there. And then you hit Apple T, and that's going to give you the free transform. Hold down Shift and drag this side out just a little bit. It's not going to really catch anybody's eye if you don't go too crazy with it. To like about right there. Let go. Okay, now go back up to your crop tool here. Now she's pretty much dead center. And boom, now you have her in the center of the composition. It didn't stretch it too crazy to draw people's eye away from where it was supposed to be. And it's a much more pleasing image. People would just naturally gravitate to images that are centered up. But until next time, man, it's Marcus. Please subscribe, like, and I'll see you in next week's video. I love y'all. Snap a belly to dawn.